Just give you guys a quick update on what's going on in the shop here. Saturday morning here at the Oldbarn Homestead. These are some jobs that came in this week. I thought I'd give you an update on one thing that I've been trying to work on, and now these just have the candy done on them and no clear on them yet, and I'm pretty happy with the candy and how it's laid out. That one issue I was getting where the candy and the base was reacting with the adhesion promoter. I bought some different adhesion promoter, and I tried just the same technique I had used before. This is SEM. I like SEM products in general. I think they make pretty good stuff. So anyway, I don't have that issue in these jobs, and this is basically what I did on this. Is I put the adhesion promoter down, waited 5-10 minutes, which is what the thing says. Probably I waited a little longer than that, and then I mixed up some of just intercoat clear. It mixes 2 to 1. And the other thing too is that this base and intercoat clear and stuff I mix with candy is a 2 to 1 base that they use, and a lot of times I mix it thinner than that, and so it's really thin, and I don't know why. I just prefer it to spray it that way. I can't tell you why I do that, but in this particular case, in this technique I used, I mixed it 2 to 1 like it's supposed to be, and I just sprayed. I put the gun on like 35 psi, and I went up really high and just fogged on a really light coat of just clear intercoat clear with no tint in it, and let it flash for a couple of minutes, and then came back and did the same thing again, slightly wetter. And my thought was, if it's going to react with that in those first couple of layers, there's no color involved in it, so you won't see that funkiness that it creates. It may create a little bit of extra texture, but this thing has a lot of texture anyway because of all the grinder swirls and all that I put in there, and that eventually sort of gets buried in the clear. If I put enough clear on it, I can sort of bury that. Sometimes I don't quite put enough clear on it, and you'll notice, you guys that pay attention to the details in my other videos, like that Dallas Cowboy video I uploaded, if you look at it really closely at the end, it's not the clears reflecting all the grinder swirls. They're sort of showing up in the clear. But if I should have put one more coat on that one. And it really depends on what grit I use and how much I go over it. If I just use a Scotch-Brite, 2 coats of clear will cover it really easily. If I use 120 grit Rolock disc, like what I used on this, it really needs 3 to get it fully buried in there. But anyway, so back to the technique. I just used intercoat clear, mixed 2 to 1, fogged on a couple of layers of that, and then sort of slowly added my candy tint to it and put a couple more coats of light coats with the color, and just sort of turned it a little pink. So by now I've got a really good cover over the top of that adhesion promoter, and now I can get the candy going and get it fogged on there, and wet it on there nice, so that I get a uniform look with the candy color. So again, these are just in base. I'm gonna get out here this morning and get these cleared. I did this last night, and so I'm pretty happy with that. It takes more time. I think what was happening is, I was getting in a hurry, and coming out here, adhesion promoter, 10 minutes later, putting on a really wet coat of candy, and man, that stuff just mottled up and coagulated. I don't know what you would call it. I've never seen anything quite do like that before. But it doesn't look good at all when it does that. I let one go out of here that I probably shouldn't have. It still looked shiny overall, and I think your average person, when they see that kind of stuff, they don't really notice that. But when you see the really nice ones that I do that don't have that and lay out really nice, and then compare it to one of those, yeah, there's a noticeable difference in it. So you know, I want to charge a real premium for these things and not be associated with these guys that sling these things out and they're powder coated, you know, and because they're powder coating them and they're charging less and less and less, and you know, and those powder coat finishes, you know, I got a couple guys that like to tell me how nice their powder coat is. I get it, you know, I know that the powders have come a long way, and you can get candy powders and you can get flakes and all kinds of things, but that final finish, you know, with the gloss clear, there is no, you just can't compare them, you know, and you know, when they paint show cars, they don't powder coat them. I guarantee you that. Anyway, I know you can get nice stuff with powder coat, but I don't want to be another, you know, guy trying to sell $50 metal art. You know, it's just, I'm just not going to do it, you know. So I'd rather sell less of them and sell them for a higher price and make more money and have it be something that someone, you know, because I mean, let's face it, if you're buying a 30, like the guy that's buying this Harley, so I don't think he's in Tennessee, this is a 36-inch one. He just built some huge patio porch thing on the back of his house, and a lot of it is covered, and he wanted a few different, you know, decorations. The guy's probably spent thousands of dollars out there on this. So would you want to spend, you know, $150 for one of these that's been powder coated? Or would you want to spend $300, which is what I charge for that, on one that's, you know, that's got a really slick, badass paint job on it? You know, it's just, and I know there's probably some people out there that would not notice the difference and not think anything about it and go, yeah, I want the cheaper one. I don't want to sell to those people, and I'm not going to sell to those people. I want the people that would say, oh yeah, you use nice clear and, you know, and candy paints and all these layers that you go through to get it to look like that. Yeah, I'll pay for that. And you know, I'd rather make more money and sell less of them than to just be another, you know, here, let me bang something off on the machine in a production way and, you know, make 20 of them at a time and put them all in the powder coat oven, and here you go, you know. So anyway, there's my rant for this morning. I just thought I'd show you guys what was going on with that. I wanted to point this out too. EcoMouse Design had sent me a link to a closed cell kit on eBay that is for spray foam insulation, closed cell. And I went ahead and bit the bullet and got it. You know, I was debating on what to do to be able to seal the ceiling in there, but not have to deal with the sweating and all that you guys pointed out. And once I get the trim on the roof and the ceiling, or on the roof part before I put the ceiling up, then I could come and seal that thing completely up, and it would, you know, take care of any insects, rodents, you know, squirrels, whatever trying to, you know, weasel their way in. And, you know, because these metal buildings, how they go together, there's a lot of gaps in them. You know, they don't really fit perfect. And, you know, the way the corrugations are on the panels at the top, you know, there's gaps all the way across there. So this covers 600 board feet, which is basically a square foot at 1 inch of thickness. And this is the closed cell, so it's kind of meant to go in at 1 inch. I think it said it had an R value of 8 at 1 inch, something like that. And so this is 600 board feet, and I have about 300. And the kits that they sold, they either had one that covered 200 or one that covered 600. So I ended up getting the 600 board feet one, and that'll give me some extra to cover some various seams on the walls and just wherever I choose to use it to try to, you know, seal it up, you know, from the inside. So anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys that. And I don't know, seemed like there was one other thing I was going to show you over here, but anyway, one of the things that I do too, this is, you can see I got a lot of crap laid out here, is once I get things cut on the table, I'll cut them out sort of in advance over there, and I might let them sit around for a couple of days while I'm doing other stuff or whatever. But you know, you can see that the sheen on it. It's got a nice coat of oil on it. So when things come off of here on this cold roll, they don't rust at all. They'll sit around even after they've been cut. They'll sit around, you know, for a few days, and you know, I don't clean them. For a while, I was cleaning off the sheet because my thought was it'd be a lot easier to clean that with you know, with it laying out flat than it would be, you know, once it's all cut up, you know, trying to clean it once it's cut. So I was cleaning it off here, flipping it over, cleaning it, you know, so I had a clean sheet after everything was cut. Well, if I didn't do anything with it for a couple of days, man, that stuff would flash up like crazy because the water from the plasma table is pretty corrosive, even though I've got some stuff in it to help with that. So I'll leave the oil on it. I'll bring it over here. I mean, I have to clean this stuff like 3, 4, or 5 times. Clean it, keep cleaning it. And just, you know, this is just one, and that's not even really that bad. I mean, that's kind of what comes off of it. And it'll keep looking like that at least about 4 times over it. And as soon as I get it clean here, I don't mess around with it. I just go right over there, and if it's getting primer, I prime it. If it's getting adhesion promoter, I do that. So anyway, from a workflow standpoint, that's worked out better for me, because when I was cleaning it and doing all the grinder preps and then maybe waiting a day or two before I could get into the paint booth over there, well, fingerprints, oil from your fingerprints and all would get in there, and I couldn't really see it. You know, it wouldn't show up so much. But then after I'd get it clear coated, then there'd be rust coming back underneath it. And the one, I'll show you guys this real quick. It might be kind of messy in here, but the one, this large flag here, one of the reasons that I didn't send that out to a customer that it was destined for is that exact issue. You can see this. You can see that in there in those little grinder swirls there. That's rust coming through. So anyway, I got a few things made up, a couple of Wonder Woman shields, parts of it that are painted, parts of the Harley sign, more stuff there. So I'll get you guys back out here. I got to do some cleaning up, man. I got kind of a mess in here right now. I think I really want to get that paint booth done, and that'll help me a lot, you know, and keep all this. There we go, out of focus. Keep all this in better shape. And you can see I've been working with the doors open here lately, and but it's been windy, leaves are coming down, and all those blow in, you know, so it's been nice to be able to do that, but you know, it kind of creates a little bit more of a mess there with the wind. So all right, guys, hope you guys have a good weekend. I'm sure I'll have some more videos on stuff I'm working on here throughout the weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.